Greetings and welcome to Medical Ethics 101. There's been a lot written about medical ethics, and to cover all of it would take quite a bit of time, which we don't have. So let's cover some of the pertinent stuff to the general practice. Let's talk about the four key principles around which this area revolves: respect for autonomy, non-maleficence, beneficence, and justice. Respect for autonomy. Let's start with that one first. As health professionals, we should inquire about the patient's wishes to receive information and to make any decisions, and we should never assume that just because a patient is part of a particular culture, community, that they affirm the community's values and beliefs. Respect for autonomy is not just a mere ideal in healthcare, it's a professional obligation. Maleficence. The principle of non-maleficence obligates us to abstain from causing harm to others. The principles of non-maleficence supports several moral rules. And some of the examples include do not kill, do not cause pain or suffering, do not incapacitate, do not deprive anyone of a good life. The obligations of non-maleficence include not only obligations not to inflict harm, but also not to impose risks of harm. It must be remembered that the principle of non-maleficence and its specifications in moral rules are what we call prima facie and not absolute. So non-maleficence, we could say, is do no harm. Beneficence. From an ethical viewpoint, morality requires that we not only treat patients autonomously and refrain from any harm to them, excuse me, but that they must also contribute to their welfare. These beneficial actions can fall under a heading of beneficence. The principles of beneficence potentially require more than those of non-maleficence, because doctors must take positive steps to help people and not merely refrain from harm. Patient welfare embodies medicine's goal, justification, and rationale. Some examples are public health, preventative medicine, and biomedical research. And lastly, justice. No single moral principle is capable of addressing all problems of justice, and no single theory of justice or system of distributing healthcare is sufficient for constructive reflection on health policy. In countries that lack a comprehensive and coherent healthcare system, they typically have larger numbers of unprotected citizens and therefore need to improve both utility or their efficiency and justice, fairness, and equality. It's further complicated by the fact that construction of a unified theory of justice that captures our diverse conceptions and use of principles of justice in medicine and biomedical ethics, it remains controversial and it's really hard to pin down. In the words of Immanuel Kant, if legal justice perishes, then it is no longer worthwhile for men to remain alive on this earth. What do you think that means? when I think of that, uh, if there is no legal justice, there is no punishment. Therefore, uh, mistakes or something that was intended never has any ramifications. If we don't have ramifications, we don't learn. Think about that. I will be talking to you in the next class. Have a great day, kids.